Welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered Romance Nights. We are your hosts, Colleen.
And I'm Marjorie. Today's episode, we have USA Today and Amazon top 5 best-selling contemporary romance author Lena Hendrix. When she is not writing or devouring new novels, you can find her hiking, camping, fishing, and sipping a spicy margarita. Welcome to the Unfiltered Romance Nights podcast, and we are so excited to have you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. I'm thrilled to be here.
So before we discuss the feature book, One Look, first of all, congratulations on being traditionally published author.
Thank you. It's very exciting. Yeah, the Kings just got picked up, so really fun things to come.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Okay, so before we discuss this month's feature book, One Look, we have a few icebreaker questions just to get to know you and your books.
Awesome. Let's have it.
How did you get started with your writing journey?
So I have always been a reader. Since I was a little girl, I loved books. I loved anytime I was reading the romance element in any book that I picked up. I thought it was so that was my favorite part, was when, the couple got together or there was a kiss or something like that. So it's always been, I think, a part of my DNA, but writing is actually a second career for me. So I was a school administrator, and then before that, a special education teacher. So I was moonlighting as a writer. I think it started really because as a reader, there were some stories that I was really looking for, and I'm sure they exist somewhere out there, but I couldn't find them. And so over a glass of wine, I looked at my husband and I said, I think I'm going to write a book. And he kind of laughed and he was like, can you do that? I was like, I have no idea, but I'm going to try. And so that really was the catalyst that started it all. And it's been so fun ever since.
Yeah, I can imagine. Now, for anybody new to you, what was the first book that you wrote?
My debut novel is called Finding You. It's set in a fictional Montana town called Chickaloo Falls, and it's about a woman who is a fly fishing guide and a man who is a retired medic for the Marines. And so he's sort of searching for this woman who had written him letters during his time in the service, and he realizes pretty quickly that his brother's best friend Joanna is this woman he's been searching for. And they're working together for the summer. So I just love that book so much. It's so much fun.
I think that's the first book I've read of yours. Well, you did answer the prior to your writing career. So when you can find the time, do you have any hobbies aside from hiking and fishing?
I do. I love to be outside. So I garden a lot. I have chickens, so I like to be outside with them. And I do tend to take on some DIY projects, particularly if my husband's ever out of town. I usually start a project and he's just shaking his head because I've, ripped out a bathroom sink or I've, decided to repaint a whole room. It's only ever gotten me, in a sticky spot once or twice. I one time I decided I wanted a new kitchen sink. And so I ripped out my old kitchen sink, but it was too heavy for me to just lift out. So I had to call my brother and I was like, SOS, come over immediately. I need your help before Jake gets home. So it was most of the time it works out, but that time it was a little tricky.
Oh my God. My husband would kill me. I know. It's not like, I just decided to repaint the doors in the house. No, I'm ripping it out.
Oh no, I had like the pry bar. I was ready to go. That sink was exiting my life. And then I didn't realize it was cast iron. It was so heavy. There was no way I was lifting it by myself. So I called my brother. He was over in like 15 minutes. So it was great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Now, you said that you are also a reader. What are some of your go-to authors?
That's really tricky because it's changed a bit over time. I used to read small town romance, almost exclusively, really. But as I've been writing small town romance, since that's the niche that I'm in, I find I'm reading it less and less. And
Hmm.
so I've been introduced to some historical romance, which has been really fun. I think it's Maya Banks that
Uh-huh.
was recommended to me by Catherine Cowles, and I loved it. And so I kind of went down a rabbit hole. I am a tried and true diehard Nora Roberts fan. I think that that's what really started my tippy toes into romance as like a teenager, probably. And so I'll always, those are just comfort reads for me. I'll just
Hmm.
always find myself back in her world. So yeah, it's definitely changed as the years have gone on, but that's what I'm enjoying lately.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that we've interviewed a few authors, and when we asked them about like their go-to reads, I've seen a lot of the authors are saying that they read less and less of like what they write and
Hmm.
more of like other types of genres or tropes. So it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think at first, as the baby debut author, I was so afraid that somewhere in my subconscious I would like tuck someone else's idea away and not realize it. But now it's more that you'll read a great line from like Elizabeth O'Rourke, right? And you're like, man, that's a good line, And then you really start to get in your own head sometimes, or, when you've got friends that, you've grown close to, you certainly want to support them, but it is hard to not compare when you're in the same genre sometimes. And I think just for my own peace, I choose
Hmm.
sometimes things that are wildly different. Um, a good monster romance here and there every once in a while never hurt anything.
Yeah. I mean, that's totally understandable because I think it's like you as as small as the community is for like author and as supportive as everybody is, like you can't really like separate like comparing yourself to another person if you're in the same genre that you're writing.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think it's bound to happen sometimes, just as, maybe insecurity or doubt creeps in. But I will say, I feel very supported. I love when I see my friends and other romance authors who write small town romance, when they are doing well, it's so exciting, truly, because somebody had once said, and I can't remember, it may have been Melanie Harlow. It was some wonderful, amazing woman gave me the sage advice that, readers are voracious. They're reading a book a day. I
Hmm.
can't keep up with that. I can't write a book a day. And so, really, the whole point is to keep readers invested in the genre, to keep them hungry and wanting to read more. So, you release a book, and then, yeah, they're picking up a Candy Steiner book, an Elsie Silver book, a Melanie Harlow book, and when you're ready to release again, they're ready for you because they've been
Yeah.
really enjoying the genre. And I love that mindset. I love that perspective, and that's sort of the headspace that I try to operate out of, because there's room for everyone at the table. There's enough readers for everyone. And it's so exciting when you see, Liz Tomforty shoot up in the charts, or you see Sarah Kate just killing it. It's exciting for everyone.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely. Um, Now I know that you said that you like the historical romance. It's kind of like a go-to. Are there any other subgenres or tropes that you prefer to read?
I love to read an enemies to lovers. That to me, it's just the built-in banter and the juiciness. I love that so much. That's a lot of fun. I do love the tension and the yearning of either a forbidden
Mhm.
romance or even a friends to lovers. Just anything that's got tension and heat is my jam. It keeps me turning those pages.
Yeah, I think yeah. I feel like almost all of the authors that we've interviewed, enemies to lovers will be like one of their
Yeah.
go-to because I think it's just it's different.
It's a classic for a reason, I think. It's just I love that turning point when either you're in particularly like the male main character's head and you realize, oh, he doesn't hate her at all.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is so
Yeah.
much fun. Or if she really does hate him for a legitimate reason, him working to sort of untangle that, and it's just so much fun to see it unfold.
Right. It's like that when they finally like okay, we actually like each other, and it's that
Exactly.
moment. You're waiting for it, because all you see is like usually it's just like I hate you kind of
The
type thing,
payoff is so good.
right,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get to that point, it's like, oh yes, finally, like we've been waiting for this. We know you like each other. You're just like in denial.
That's right.
um, so this is gonna be an interesting question. How do your friends and family feel about this type of books you write, and have any of them read them?
So they are super supportive. When I started writing, I didn't tell a single soul outside of my husband for a little bit over a year. I was nervous to tell anybody, and I thought, well, if I'm really bad at this, nobody has to know. I just won't tell
Mm-hmm.
anybody. And then when things really started to get some traction, I was interviewed for like an Amazon something or other, and I thought in my head, I thought this was huge, and I had arrived, and my dad was definitely going to find out. And so I told my parents, and they were wonderful and supportive. Everyone has been amazingly supportive. I do have friends who read my books. I tell them to never tell me about it. I don't want to know. And one time my brother thought that he was going to be funny and pick up a book. It was actually Finding You. And he just flipped to a random page and started reading. Well, it was like a blowjob scene essentially. And I think he was scarred for life. And he has never picked up another Lena Hendrix book, and I am thrilled about that. But yeah, that has
Oh,
been the extent of that. But everybody's been wonderful, really supportive, really happy for me, and yeah, I've been really lucky in that way.
that's
Yeah,
amazing. Although of all the page that he could turn into that start.
I know.
Um,
And he's probably thinking, this better not be from experience. This better be a fictional page. Oh. Now, how many books do you typically try and write in a year?
So typically, I have been doing 4 books a year. 3 is kind of my sweet spot where I
Mhm.
don't feel so much pressure in terms of my writing schedule, but I have been doing 4. Um, I think I'll be 3 or 4 for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. And I think that's good. I think that gives you time to develop the story, get it all out, make it perfect to you and not try and overload yourself.
I agree. I think that 3 feels really comfortable, and I like to work. So for
Mhm.
me, the downtime is hard. I That's when I start tearing apart the house, and my husband's like, "When are we starting that next book?" I just I like to be busy, and I have a lot of stories. My notes app is insane. I have a lot of ideas, and so it's just really fun. The writing for me is my favorite part, and so I look forward to that. It's the best part of the job, to be honest.
mm, um, all right, we're gonna put you on the spot a little bit. Out of all the books you have written, which is the most difficult to write? And if you could answer it, do you have a favorite?
Oh, so the most difficult book by far was One Chance. It's my only friends to lovers.
Mm.
I have learned that writing friends to lovers is hard for me. I think that the concept that these two insanely attractive, amazing people who are already friends, who already like each other, who already spend all of this time together. I'm like, why are you not together? This is crazy to me. One of you just needs to speak up and say something. And so I struggled with the conflict, like really making sure the conflict made sense. And I'm not sure if that's because I'm the type of person who would just talk to the person that I had feelings for. I mean,
Yeah.
I went up to my husband the night that we met, and I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna talk to you." So yeah, Friends to Lovers, that was really hard for me to write, and in terms of feeling like it was natural and feeling like it made sense to the characters in the story. Um, where other books just like fall onto the page and it's a breeze. That one,
Mm.
it took a lot more sort of time and care and planning and all of that. My favorite book, that's a tricky one. It's usually the last book I just wrote,
Mhm.
but I will say Just Like That, which is book 4 in the King series. It has stuck with me. I just love that book for so many reasons. The female main character is like kind of witchy and like woo woo a little bit, and really the opposite of the male main character, who's like this buttoned up billionaire. And there's all sorts of family secrets that get revealed. A lot of drama sort of comes to a head. You know, he's like a surprise single dad. So it's got a lot of really yummy elements. And I think back on that book very, very fondly. I love that book so much.
Okay. Now, this is putting you on the spot again. The next couple questions do that. Give me 3 words to describe your books.
Ooh, that is tricky. I'll say sexy,
Okay.
heartwarming, and
Mhm.
funny.
Yes, definitely. Perfect.
For me, it's like if I can hit those 3 things in any book, and not all at the same time, but somewhere in there, then I feel good about the story. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we definitely got that
Right.
with One Look.
Right.
Well,
Right.
thank you.
Last on the spot question. Do you have a favorite couple, MMC and an FMC? Like they don't have, like the FMC or MMC doesn't have to be the couple. That's-
Oh. So wait, it doesn't have to be the couple in the book, but like a favorite
Yeah.
male and a favorite female?
Yeah, and then a favorite couple out of
Oh, got
all
you.
your
Got you. Got you. Got you. Okay. So I would say, yeah, that is a tough one because they're so good. Okay, so favorite couple. I love the dynamic between Royal King and Veda Bauer in Just Between Us, because she's a black cat and he's a golden retriever, but in the bedroom, he is much more dominant and sort of helps her to loosen up a little bit. And that was a lot of fun to write. And even just like the cheeky banter, because he is such a goofball. He just like annoys the hell out of her, and it was fun. I really love that one. I love them as a couple together. Favorite female main character is probably Hazel, who is in Just Like That, which was the one I was speaking about before. And then, see, the male main characters are my favorite in the books. I love writing from their POV. I just love being inside of their heads. That's a tough one because I'm drawn to say Abel King from Just My Luck, but I also love Beckett Miller from One Touch, which is book 2 in the Sullivan series. He is like a grumpy contractor, and
Oh, yes.
I just love him a lot. So yeah, I'll say Beckett Miller. We'll give him a little love today. It changes
I
though,
feel
honestly.
like
Let's be real.
because I started looking into the other books, and if I remember, I don't know if I want to ruin it. We'll screw it. I feel like Beckett and Wyatt's sister get together.
Kate.
That's my Kate. Okay. Yeah. I was like, oh, I got to read that one.
Yeah, so in book 2, so Kate Sullivan and Beckett Miller are the couple, and it is an enemies to lovers. She is not happy he is there to help.
Yeah, because his brother screwed her over. But that's all
Yeah,
I'll
that's
say.
right.
I'm not saying anymore.
Because it's an ex-boyfriend's older brother.
But those are good. That's a good trope, though.
That's
like that
juicy.
ex-boyfriend. It's always
it was so fun.
Yeah.
So let's switch gears and talk about One Look. There were so many funny parts to this book.
Thank you. I had a fun time. It was a fun one to write for sure.
So, funny question, I guess, or weird question. Were any of this from personal experience, or were they all made up?
Mostly all fiction. I mean, I do have chickens, and so we have had instances where, the kids have wanted a chicken funeral, and then there have been instances where we'll be eating, like, store-bought chicken, and, one of my kids being like, "Is this one of ours?" Or they'll be like, "Is this Krabby Patty? Because she's delicious." And I'm like, "No, we are not eating our what is wrong with you?" And so, yeah, sometimes those little funny moments pop up and I can squirrel them away. But for the most part, they're taken with some, liberal interpretation and some fiction added.
Oh my God. I
Yeah.
couldn't. So I have two favorite scenes. One is um the beginning where
Mhm.
she plays that another one bites the dust, and then like I just didn't see it coming. Like I thought I had never read your books before. So I think, oh my God, she's gonna rip my heart out. I just got that vibe. And I'm like, oh, she fell in. And he's like not
She's in
helping
there.
her. And
I
she's
know.
hobbling away with a broken shoe.
That's so funny because I actually rewrote that scene.
You
Originally,
did?
he was gonna be, the strong, sexy man and like hauls her up out of the hole. And then as I was writing it, I was like, you know what's funnier? He just stands there looking down his nose at her, like, what are you doing? And she's like clawing her way out of the hole. To me, if I could make myself laugh, or if I get to the end of the scene and I think, oh yeah, that was pretty funny, then I know I've
Yeah.
I've hit it. I've hit the right note. But if I when I first wrote it in first draft, I was like, I mean, it's okay, and you get to see him as this like strapping guy. But then I was like, you know what? He's kind of grumpy. And I'm pretty sure he would just look at her like she was an idiot. And so I rewrote that whole back half of that scene for him to just
Mhm.
stare at her in confusion and
Yeah.
mild disappointment.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like when you read his point of view, like at the very beginning, he's very grumpy, like
Oh yeah. Hmm.
from the get go. So I think that worked out perfectly well. He was just like, are you serious right now? Like,
Grumpy
what is
guys
happening?
are my favorite. They are my absolute
Me
favorite to
too.
write. I love to peel back those onion layers and just to really get down in there, because a lot of times they have a reason to be grumpy, but they're just too guarded to let their walls down, and I love that about them.
Like
Yeah.
imagining like that's your first meeting, like your meet
Mhm.
cute kind of thing. Like
Could you imagine?
he's just looking down on you while you're struggling to get out of that
You're
hole.
like, "Thanks for the help, pal."
Yeah.
It's like, are you gonna
She's
help
like,
me or like what?
but it was the broken shoe that really just did it. Like here she's like trying to walk away with her dignity and she's hobbling away. Like their dynamic in the beginning of the book is hilarious. The lake scene, and I don't want to say too
Mhm.
much more because I want people to experience it themselves, but that was just I'm sorry, this
Oh
was an
yeah.
amazing read.
Oh, thank you. I loved it. I had so much fun and just really putting them in situations that
Mhm.
were going to be uncomfortable or funny or awkward, and then just throwing them together. It was a delight for sure.
I
Yeah.
mean that lake scene after they were the run, like she just like
Mhm.
here we go, birthday suit, and
Yeah,
he
she's
was
just
just
gonna cool off, and it's in the middle of nowhere. Nobody's gonna be around, and
yeah.
whoops.
Besides him
Mm.
hiding in the bushes. So it's just yeah.
Oh god.
Um yeah.
Um
Sorry.
this question you might have a hard time with it, but I already have an answer. If you were forced to choose, you don't have a choice, you have to choose. Would you choose Sullivan or Kingside?
Oh, that's not hard at all. I'm a king
Oh,
girl. I'm a
are
ride or
you?
die king girl. Yeah, and it's funny because I love the Sullivans. Do not get me
Hmm.
wrong. I love them a lot. But I knew even when I was writing the Sullivan series that I was a king girl.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
I wanted
So
to tempt readers and see if I could lure them over to the dark side. I'll make them fall in love with all the Sullivan men and then tempt them over on the other side.
Yeah, I think I do like Royal a little, like the little bit that he's been sprinkled in. I was like,
mhm.
oh, maybe, but I'm reading Sullivans right now, so that's where we're at.
Yeah, and I will say it was a tough. I mean, it's like we're talking, marginally more. I'm a King girl, right? There is just something about Duke Sullivan in One Night that it's just, oh, he just gets to my heart, and I love him, the grumpy farmer, um, who just always chooses duty over his own heart. And yeah, that would be a tough call if it was I had to pick Duke over Duke over, let's say, JP. That'd be a tough one for me.
Mm.
So we can make you like put them head to head, kind of.
Right? Yeah, in my reader group, it's so funny. I have a friend who posts in my reader group, and oftentimes she'll pit like, you can only pick one. Who would you pick? And it's always the most impossible choice that she picks. I'm like, you're fighting dirty. This is not great. And then in the comments, it's people just like fighting for their lives for their favorite characters.
Like, that would be, yeah. Because we know, like, there's going to be like Die Hard.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and
like,
there are some loyalists who will say, Wyatt Sullivan, he was my first, he's my favorite. And yeah, it's really fun to see which characters are people's favorites and then the why behind it. It's cool. It's pretty cool.
So for like any new readers, like where would you recommend them like to start with your books?
I think starting at One Look, like the book club is doing, is the perfect spot because it's a brand new town. There's no other town that really comes before. I mean, there's other series, but those take place in different towns. So this is truly, a really good entry point. And then you get the whole backstory between the Sullivans and the Kings, and you can float right into the King series without any sort of catching up. Because in the Sullivan series, you start to tease at and unravel the origins behind these rival families and why they're feuding. And then in the King series, that sort of switches a little bit, and you start to see the King siblings unravel what really happened to their mother, who has been absent from their lives since they were kids. So I think starting at One Look is the perfect spot. You're in coastal Western Michigan. It's just a lovely place to be.
Will there, and maybe other people know already, will there be resolution for the Sullivan and Kings? Like, I'm not saying best friends, but will there ever be resolution?
Yes.
Okay.
Eventually.
I was wondering that.
They have to work.
Yeah,
They have to
eventually.
work for it a lot. And even post resolution ish, they're still like, they'll still poke or pick at each other a little bit, and they don't completely lose that sort of playful banter between the boys. Boys will be boys, I guess.
Of course.
Healthy rivalry would be like,
yeah,
good.
It definitely moves from an unhealthy place, and then you start to get to see them sort of merge and coalesce and team up in some ways, in some areas, in some spots. But there is always still that sort of poking the bear a bit, which is fun.
It is. It makes good drama, or like even just the humor of it during when you're reading. Okay, so what, if you're able to, what future projects are you working on that you can talk about?
Oh, I can. And it's lots of exciting things. So I am currently writing a series that I've announced called Star Harbor. That is a series that's set still in Western Michigan, but like in my mind, it's a little bit up the coast a bit. And that's really fun. That's going to be a 5-book series that's released independently, starting later this year. So book 1 will come out later this year, and really getting the ball rolling with some of that. So that's super fun. I also, with the traditional publishing announcement that I made, I'm also writing a new town for Kensington. And that one won't come out until 2027, like very early 2027. But that will be a totally new town. I'm starting on those books very, very soon. I'm so excited. I think, it's just really fun to try on a new town, for it to be, different in some ways, but cozy and familiar. It will still very much feel like a Lena Hendrix book, but you'll get to see new families, new towns, new dynamics, all really, really exciting.
You're gonna have be
Yeah.
like a busy year or
It is
two.
it is busy, and here's the thing is I have never written where I'm partway through one series and then I'm writing books in another series and sort of doing them at the same time, so that has been interesting. I was nervous at first, but honestly, these towns are far different, and so it was easy to sort of lock into the mindset of each specific town because they're fun and interesting in very different ways.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait for people to just fall in love with these characters and these towns. It's going to be great to have everyone along for the ride.
Yeah. I yeah. I'm like in awe of you and other authors that are able to just like switch gears. Like my brain barely functions from day to day. So like the talent that it must take to just I don't know. I'm just like I said, I'm in awe. So I'm excited. I'm so glad that I got to read that. You'll be probably one of my go-to authors now.
Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. I love that. And I love a good unhinged DM. So if you're reading and thinking, "Oh my gosh, I have to tell Lena this." It's me. When you message me on Instagram, it's me who responds. So you can give me your
Thanks.
theories as you get through the Sullivan books. You can give me your theories on
Yeah.
what you think. I always think that's so much fun to hear.
Quick question. Is there like one favorite scene that you would always think about on one look?
Oh, in one look.
Yeah.
Um, oh, there's so many good ones. I Well, there's one funny one that often I'm like, it just makes me chuckle. I'll randomly think about it because, um, you know, for people who are unfamiliar in Michigan, dunes can be huge, like these masses of grass and sand and all that. And I often laugh because I have been stuck atop a dune before, and you're holding onto the
Stop.
side thinking, I can jump off and try not to, break a leg, or somebody can help me. And there is a scene in there where Lark gets stuck and she basically has to ask Wyatt, like, boobs or butt? Like, I'm either coming down front ways or back ways, but one of these things are going in your face. What do I do? And when I see people climbing on the dunes, sometimes I laugh at that and makes me chuckle. Um, I also love, A Man Who Can Cook. And so there's, a scene in there where he's, like, making her fancy ramen, and it's so swoony to
Yes.
me because 'cause I'm like, "Please just feed me." That's really tell me I'm pretty
Right.
and feed me, and I am yours, because it just I love that, and he's so attuned to her and trying to figure out her love language and what she likes, and I love that for them.
Yeah. Yeah, they had like a little bit of yeah, that was hilarious. And I knew it. As I was reading that scene, I was like, I know he's gonna be down that beach. I know he's gonna catch her because she's a mess and she's always doing something crazy.
Right? She's getting herself into too much trouble.
Right.
Yeah, it's so funny. Um, okay, so are there any genres, subgenres, tropes that you haven't written that you think you might like to write in the future?
Um I mean, I love what I'm writing now, so I
Mhm.
definitely will do, so I'll be sticking with small town romance for the foreseeable future. But I will say, I love combining different tropes and thinking about different ways I could do that. Like, I would have never thought I was going to write an ex-boyfriend's brother, or like things like a little bit more forbidden than that. So I never say never. I'm always open
Mhm.
to different ideas and how different kind of trope combinations could make things new and interesting and fun. Because, like I said earlier, writing is my favorite part. I am kind of a discovery writer. I have the bones of a story, but a lot of things start flowing and start to gel up as I'm writing. And so sometimes I'll come to something and I have the realization like, oh my gosh, yes, this is what happens. And so that's really
Yeah.
fun. But yeah, I'm open. I'm open to lots of different ideas. I never thought that I would write a mafia cowboy series, but I did write that. My Redemption Ranch series was a ton of fun. It was former mafia guys in witness protection on a ranch in Montana. So I had a ball. So I love combining tropes, so I probably would never say never to something. I could probably figure out a way to make it work within small town if I needed to.
Okay, so is it difficult to kind of like build, like, since it's all small town, like, is it difficult to build that town when you're like writing?
I will say it wasn't at first. Now that I
Mm,
have more than one series and more than one town, you want the town to feel special and unique in its own way and not just feel like, oh, we're still an out of towner when we're not in that town anymore, when we're in some,
Mm.
other town. So I think the key there is making sure that the town has its own essence. I love to look at my small towns as being a character in themselves, like whether or not there's um, you know, like the Bluebirds, right? The book club, and that can be perfect for one town, but then the next town that you're in should still feel slightly different. It should have a different mood or a vibe. And I think that really helps. It's like treating the small town as its own character makes it fresh for me too as I'm writing.
Mm.
no, that
That's a
makes
good
sense. Yeah.
point.
Um. Oh, I forgot to ask this earlier. Um. Lark, right? The FMC. I'm
Hmm.
bad at names. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Same. Yeah.
Lark, what was the inspiration as far as her like job? Because that's a very unique job. Like,
It is a unique job, and I will say it is the most ridiculous way I came up with
It
that.
is.
I had a book of like unique professions, and I
uh,
literally did a page flip and a point, and it was like professional mourner. And I was like, huh, well, that's kind of fun. And then my brain just took off of like all of these random situations of this like struggling actress who takes this lucrative side job as like, yeah, I can show up and cry. I'm using my skill set. I could do that. And then it being even funnier because in a small town, everyone knows like who is this person and why is she causing drama? Because is she, the deceased is it a long lost daughter? Is it a lover? What, and they're all talking and trying to figure it out. And meanwhile, Wyatt is super skeptical and is like, I know she doesn't belong here. Who is she? What is her deal? And so yeah, it was literally a page flip and a point, and I was like, I love it. I'll work with that.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
yeah, I mean it's interesting because she was hired by the ants, right? Like
That's
the
right.
two.
Yeah, they felt
Matriarchs.
they
Yeah.
felt bad. They thought nobody was going to be there, so they hired a professional mourner, and she stirred up all kinds of drama.
Right? It's just hilarious. And I mean, can you imagine also like playing that song anyway? It's like of all the songs
Right?
that you can like.
Yeah, of
What?
course that was his favorite, right?
Hmm.
That's hilarious.
Um. Okay, so besides this special edition, do you have any other special editions or plans to do any other special editions in the future?
I do. Right now, there's been a couple, like throughout the years, there's been a few special editions. I'm like looking at my bookshelf as we're chatting. That have been one of my favorites though was I did do a signing exclusive special edition for Just This Once, which is book one in the King series. And that one people can get if they go to a signing, they order it through me, and it's got an
Nice.
amazingly beautiful illustrated cover. It's got, sprayed edges and special interiors. And it's just, I love special editions. I think they're fun. I think they're a great way
Me
to,
too.
have a different kind of cover. Like if it's not a landscape, maybe it's a couple or it's illustrated. Yeah, so there's been a couple that have been really pretty and really special, and I'm very lucky. They'll send me one copy that I can kind of keep on my bookshelf and remember, and it's been great.
Yeah. Last question. Are you planning to attend any book signings this year or next year?
Yeah, so I've already been to a few this year. Still left for this year. Let me think. I have Books by the Lake, which is in Whitefish, Montana, in September, I believe,
Oh,
and then in November, Indies Invade Philly. So I will be in Philadelphia for that one too. So those two at the tail end of 2025. For 2026, I will likely be doing some book tour stuff with Kensington and their release of the King series. So those will
mhm.
be really more likely small bookstores, and in anticipation of those releases, which I don't know the dates, but those will be forthcoming. Those are really fun. The only big signing I have scheduled for 2026 right now, if I'm recalling correctly, is A Love Letter to Boston, which is
Oh,
like
okay.
October of next year, with the Southern Bells. They always put on a great show, and I love the idea of Boston in October and popping over to Salem and doing some witchy stuff. So I think
Yes.
that's going to be really fun. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Yeah, Boston, Salem, Massachusetts, yes, definitely. They really put on a good like aesthetic.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm ready
Yeah.
for it. I can't wait.
So, do
Mm.
you usually attend a lot of signings or not really?
I have in the past overcommitted where it was a
Yeah.
case of Lena couldn't say no. And so I think I did 7 this year and I did 9 last year. It was a lot, a lot.
That's
But
okay.
Yeah.
the truth is, I actually love signings. They're
Mm.
long days and they're very busy, but writing can be kind of lonely. I sit in my office, my kids go off to school, and my husband's at his job, and I there will be days where I'm like, I haven't talked to a single person all day today. And I have to go out for a walk and randomly talk to the neighbors and all of that because I get a little stir crazy. So signings really do fill up my social well a little bit. I also get to, chat with readers and we talk about books and I get to see author friends and that's really fun. So I'll be doing a lot less than 7, but
Mhm.
I enjoy them. I enjoy signings. I think they're a great time.
I mean,
Yeah.
for book tours, it would be busy too because you're like going to
Yeah,
several.
sometimes they're crazy. I've had friends who've done them like 5 cities in 5 days. I've never done anything quite
Wow.
that busy. So it will be new and interesting. I love new experiences, so I'm ready for it.
Yeah, hopefully you
Well, we're
come to
excited for
Florida.
you.
Yeah. If you come to Florida, I'll try. If it's close enough, I'll definitely make it. I have a whole shelf that's empty, so
Oh,
we
I
can
love
fill it
I'll
with.
fill it up. Fill it up for you.
Uh, I missed out on the
Oh,
ticket for Whitefish because it's like literally that like 20 minutes away
uh,
from me, and I'm
Oh
just like,
no.
no
yeah.
way. I'm like,
Maybe
you
a
know,
Too
resale
bad.
ticket.
I've been watching, so because I mean, I don't have to pack really.
Right, you
I
just
don't
show
Right.
up. That's the best part.
don't have to like, worry about shipping.
Mhm.
It's just like,
Oh, true.
well,
That's
yeah, and I
true.
have two carts or crates, whatever. One of them I use for my son's lacrosse because we lug everything around.
Oh, sure.
Um,
Mm,
Mhm.
so I have
yeah.
2 carts, so if I can fill those up, I'll be fine.
Well, I hope I get to see you. I hope you can snag a resale
Yes.
ticket.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
if not, I'll definitely watch out where you're. When you announce where you're going, then me and Colleen just have to like, let's just fly somewhere.
Yeah, a little mini
Yeah.
vacation.
Right. Right. Well.
We're both
Well. That.
kind of introverts, I guess. Like,
Oh, I am.
you know,
Mhm.
um,
Oh, well, that brings us to the end of the episode. It was so exciting, and we were so appreciative that you were able to meet with us, and we look forward to your books that are coming out.
Thank you. I can't wait. I can't wait to hear what book club has to say, and I am just
Yes,
honored to be here. So thank you so much.
thank you.
you're
We
welcome.
are so excited. I'm excited to see anything and then send it to you. Like,
Yes, please
give you
do.
Yeah.
options, like which one, because sometimes it's hard to like pick a cover.
Oh, yeah, that's tricky. That is a hard part of the process, definitely.
Yeah.
I love mail covers, but now that I'm collecting, it's mostly like special editions that I
Mhm.
collect.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
I still do like mail covers, and I'm looking at your mail covers, and I was like, must snag those before they go away.
Yeah, so the mail covers should be available for quite some time. It's actually the Discreets that will be leaving first.
Ah,
Okay.
Mhm.
yeah, I love
Oh,
discreets.
interesting.
Mm,
Oh, yeah, you're discreet, so you need to buy them.
I don't know. I just like them. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Well, for our listeners, be sure to follow us on our socials and make sure to subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss out on any of our new episodes. If you have any authors you'd like to see on our podcast or any topics you'd like us to discuss, just go ahead and DM us on Instagram. Well, that's all. See you next time.